Alright, first time uploading a video in 3 years. That's pretty fun. Hey, long time no see. Sorry for the lighting. I actually don't have a good setup in this room to be backlit appropriately for any which way, shape, or form. So, we're going to be doing this on my iPad since I lost the cable to my camera during my move, as well as my web camera, which is a plus because now I'm not going to sound like a chipmunk on every single video I do. So I wanted to take a second to talk about new knife. Yes, I have acquired the new of knives, and I have acquired the 119 Arvensis, which is good for me because I have a bit of an issue. And by issue, I mean we all knew, you can go back and see that I did my video on my Adamas, which is in good shape relatively compared to what I normally do to it. So it's a win-win. I have 75 MPR. I also have the fixed blade Adamas, and the last knife I bought from Benchmade was the dual action. Now, what do all these knives have in common? Between the Adamas, the fixed blade, the MPR, the dual action, one thing they all have in common, aside from being Benchmade knives, is that they're all designed by Shane Seibert, and I love his knives. This is what kicked off my obsession with Seibert as a designer. Both his private knives, which I don't own any of yet. I'm trying to hopefully hit the lottery in some form or fashion so I can put money towards getting a full-size pocket rocket, the whole titanium schmuck. But this knife impressed me so much that I have everything he has current, I believe, but the Bushcrafter. And that's a knife I also would like to own, but have not had a chance to jump on. So, the Arvensis, the 119 Arvensis, is another knife of his that came out last year, I believe. I'm a bit behind on my collecting, if you can tell. And it's 154 cm. Clearly it's a fixed blade, or a really big damn folder. And I know it's not in the box because this thing is so fucking light. It's right here, which I have mounted sideways for scout carry, like so. Why like so? So when I reach behind my back, I can pop the snap without having to get too acrobatic with the whole deal. So it comes with, I do not believe this is considered to be a malice lock. I know the malice strips that come with the Adamas and some of their other folders are pretty damn aggressive. This thing, thus far, for me having it for one day, seems pretty locked up and solid. I will echo some other people in saying that this connection point right here, where you get a little bend, a little bit of a lot of bend in this Kydex-like material, is probably going to be a fail point, if there is a fail point. I will find out eventually, because like I said, I'm carrying it scout carry as so there will be a permanent flex and tension on this. Sheath. That was the lock, the sheath. Sheath has this cool little fold-over bit where you can go over the back, over the front. The front appears to be more of the more secure of the two, but looking at it objectively, from the back with the snap even, you actually have the same amount of coverage either way. And even when you draw the knife, you see if you have it snapped back here, you're going to catch the same amount as if you have it snapped up here, just with the way that your pseudo crossguard in the scales is cut out. So the knife itself is a pretty impressive dude. Comparing it to the fixed blade Adamas, got maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of extra general length on it, and as far as width goes, it's not even a contest. This thing is a massive, beefy bro. And not being in D2 or M390 does nothing to disappoint me, because while I've used this as my EDC for the past 3 years, I have been carrying on and off between what I call the chicken wing, because we nicknamed the MPR the Nugget. I've been carrying the Tonto Striker, the manual version. since it came out, interjectively between my folding Adamus and my chicken wing. And I'm looking very forward to adding this onto my repertoire of not only EDC knives, but just general use knives I keep in kits. Because I have been struggling to find a fixed blade that I could use as my fixed blade. So, 25, I don't have grandkids, I don't have kids, but the point of most of my knife intrigue is I want to be the cool granddad that when I go away for good, or just when I see my grandkids and leave, they go, "Did you see Grandpa's knife? Grandpa had his knife, I like Grandpa's knife. This is my grandpa's folding knife. This is going to be the knife I have on me for fucking ever. And it's going to be my signature knife because I don't see many people shelling out the $600 and up for a gold class to carry it. I use that knife for pizza, boxes, and if I go out to an Olive Garden or a place that serves steak and has steak knives, steak, because their knives are never sharp. But we're not here to talk about the MPR, or the chicken wing, or the MPR, or the Adamus. We're here to talk about the Arvensis. The Arvensis, as I said, is a thick, beefy shit. Compared to every other Cybert and every other Benchmade I have seen, handled, and owned. And I love it. It is thicker than my K-bar, which I will probably be doing field comparison work with. And maybe possibly even talking about later on, because I like the one I got. It's not a special model, but anyway. So you got a thick 154 cm blade. There is it compared to my pinky. See, it's almost half the damn fingernail, really. That's half the damn fingernail. The grind on this one, I have seen some spotty, pretty like weird grinds that are like sort of half and half. This one, from what I can tell, is pretty spot on even. Got a little bit of difference here from the two sides, but the edge is fucking great. It just passes hair right off the arm, so it's definitely shaving sharp on either side. You've got this choil, not choil, up here in the front that you can choke on, but you don't have much in the way of give from the blade. So you're probably going to get just about guaranteed bite if you're being a little bit too athletic with your general tasking. Handle scales are G10, excuse that weird beep. Handle scales are G10 and they are secured with titanium tubing the exact same way that the Bushcrafter is, which is nice, and it makes for a very good, secure, smooth grip. You even have this machining up here in the G10, so when you go to do more refined tasks with your thumb or your forefinger, if you're doing pinch work, if you're doing any kind of game work, hunters, fishers, shit like that, you know, you're cleaning up a lot of meat, you want to get a good grip for when you're starting to do slices, if you're trying to do any kind of steak cuts, it'd be very good for. Try to get around a lot of bone if you're not a fan of the rib in your ribeye. I know some animals are like that. Not the animal you're killing. There are people that don't like the rib in their ribeye steak, which is why I preface that with strange critters. The grip is super comfortable, as I have already stated, and you have a little bit of jimping here in the back, a very strong aggressive jimping that would work great as both a skull spike, a window breaker if you're in the tactical community, and as a general ice pick grip. It gets you real far back in chokes, and there's not a whole lot of movement going on with your hand. The weight is very forward balanced with the differential in size between the handle and the blade. You see you got, again, about a good solid 1.5 to 2 inches of extra just from the difference between the two and the length. So it's very front heavy, which means it's very maneuverable, is the word I'm thinking of. For combat situation, guys, it's a very maneuverable, finessable knife. It does have a false swedge on the back, but that's really just to strengthen the point. It's not meant to be sharpened. Forward weight makes it a better chopper for your survival guys, and like I said, it's a very agile handling knife from what I've been doing with it thus far, which is fucking around with it, wearing it around, making sure everything's good, solid, and comfortable. Backtracking here to the sheath a little bit, I am kind of disappointed. The only way it secures are with these two screws here. I would actually like a 4-point mechanism, so a tech lock would be very solid. You have here on both sides, ambidextrously, the ability to attach it to MOLLE webbing. So if you are left-handed, right-handed, foot-handed, you can switch this up, wear it left, wear it right, scout like I have it. And interestingly enough, similarly, this back snap here is also interchangeable. You can remove this and put it on either side, left or right, depending on your hand preference. I like that a lot. Being an ambidextrous person, I like to switch it up. The sheath without the snap is very secure. Very secure. The lockup is incredibly guaranteed is the word I want to use. It is very substantial. It's not a knife you're going to bounce out of your pocket if you decide not to use the strap. But the strap makes it jump safe, so I guess that matters. To the best of my knowledge, the Arvensis does not have an NSM number, and I will try for you military guys, if you somehow find your way to this almost 12-minute video, I will try to keep that in mind for you military guys when I start looking over stuff like this and start handling it a little bit more. But might not be in the next week, might not be in the next month, but I look forward to getting a use video out soon with not just this, but with the K-bar. I'd like to do a little bit of work with the Arvensis again. Right now, this knife has just more or less been sitting in my pack in its sheath on the MOLLE webbing, just as a guaranteed, I have my bag every day. If I wake up late for work and I don't grab my knife, I know I have a knife. 100% guaranteed all the time. But look for a EDC update because I'm adding the Arvensis to my everyday kit. It will be an on-the-person knife, not a backpack knife like the Arvensis is, and certainly not an in-the-backpack knife like my Hobo tools and my HK multi-tool. So keep your eyes open, and thanks for watching. I know I ramble a lot, and I hope whatever I did bring up was helpful. That was more or less a first impressions bit. I've had this thing on layaway for a week, and I have very high hopes for it because Cybert makes a ridiculously good knife. Have a good one, guys.